Good afternoon, everyone. Our topic is all about crab production. For our target outcomes, at the end of the lesson, students are expected to identify the different culture methods in crab farming and understand the harvesting procedures of crabs. Crabs. Crabs is came from in kingdom of Animalia, class of Malacostracans. Their scientific name is Brachyura. Their genus is Cilia, Portunus and Cesarma, and family of Cracacidae, Cancer and Portunidae. The Department of Agriculture, through the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or called it BIFAR, is set to turn Lanao del Norte into the crab capital of the Philippines. Lanao del Norte is part of Region 10 in northern Mindanao. Lanao del Norte is known for its bountiful harvest on land and on sea. So, hindi lang sila producers ng mga crabs or other aquaculture products natin, pati rin sa land, nakikipagsabayan din sila. Nagpo-produce din sila ng kopra, bigas, mga prutas at mais. Crab production, a system of protecting or preserving crabs by keeping them in pens in saltwater swallows where they are fattened for market. So, the advantages is huge demand and price in international market, low labor costs, low production costs, grow faster, and by proper care more can be earned than shrimp farming. Let's talk about external anatomy of crab. First one is the dactylus, propodus, caprus, merus, pincer or yung sipit-sipitan nila, antennae, antennule, compound eyes, rostrum, and also their legs and cephalothorax. Juvenile crabs, they are 20 to 99 mm or 0.83.9 inches carapace width. They are in mangrove zone, remaining there during low tide sub-adults, so they are 100 to 149 mm or 3.9 to 5.9 each. Migrated into the intertidal zone to feed at high tide and retreated to subtidal waters at low tide. Adults are 150 mm or 5.9 in larger. Were coatly mainly below the low tide mark with small number captured in the intertidal zone at high tide. These crabs are highly cannibalistic in nature. When crabs undergo molting, other hard-shelled ones sometimes attack the molting crabs and devour them. The females can give birth to 1 million offspring which can grow up to 3.5 kilogram to 7.7 in size and have a shell width of up to 24 cm to 9.4 inch wide. 4 species of mud crabs within the genus Scylla. First one is the Scylla serrata, or called it mud crab or mangrove crab or black crab. Also known as the giant mud crab or the mangrove crab, is a swimming crab with an oval carapace. Economically important species of crab, estuaries, and mangrove of Africa, Australia, and Asia. Their color is deep mottled green to very dark brown. It is found naturally in Indo-Pacific region from South Africa around the coast of the Indian Ocean to the Malay Archipelago, as well as from southern Japan to southeastern Australia, and as far east as Fiji and Samoa. Second one is the Scylla olivacea, commonly known as the orange mud crab, is a commercially important species of mangrove crab in the genus Scylla. It is one of the several crabs known as the mud crab and is found in mangrove areas from Southeast Asia to Pakistan and from Japan to northern Australia.
I'm Justin Bulaga and I will continue our discussion. So this is the third species, the Transbarica. Transbarica is a species of mangrove crabs belong to the family Portunidae, class Crustacea, and this is found in mangrove areas from Pakistan and Taiwan to the Malay Archipelago and to the other Indo-Pacific region. The next is the Paramomasain, are one of the most economical and nutritious crab species found in China and South Asia. Status of mud crab in the Philippines. So mud crab farming has been long established in the Philippines. The Serrata, Transbarica, and the Olivacea are the common species found here in our country. But the Serrata is the most, or it is the preferred species of our crab growers here. So the total production of mud crab aquaculture was estimated at 13,720. It is valued at $77,025,000 US and 14,437 tons valued at 86,511 US dollars in 2000 in year 2009 and 2010. So the sources of crab seeds farming are from the wild and in recent years from hatchery, although in small percentage. The overexploitation of mud crabs and habitat losses have resulted in both reduced landings and mean capture sites. To stem the wild harvest, the provincial municipal government along with the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources have introduced ordinances that prohibit the gathering and selling of crablets. These are the crabs that are smaller than 3 centimeters outside the municipality of the origin. So this resulted to increased acceptability of hatchery-reared crabs by crab growers. So it helps to repopulate the crabs para hindi sila maubos. Kasi I think in other countries, they do not allow or even sa ibang farm, sa ibang country, um, pag nakita nila or may nahuli silang meron ng eggs, is binabalik nila to at nilalagyan nila ng tag para ma-distinguish nila na in the future kung mahuli nila ulit to, malalaman nila na it is a breeder. So hindi lang nila huhuliin. So it can reproduce more crabs. Basic technologies in all phases of culture, the hatchery, nursery, and grow out have been developed. However, there are still several issues that need to be addressed. In the hatchery phase, one of the major causes of low survival are the moth death syndrome, in which Zoea 5 has difficulty morphing to megalopa and diseases due to bacterial and fungal infection in eggs and larvae. The use of antibiotics or as treatment for Vibrio has proven to improve larval survival. However, the use of antibiotics can lead to the development of resistant strains of bacteria and abnormalities that become apparent at the juvenile stage.
In the nursery phase, economic losses have been attributed to cannibalism. Common strategies used to mitigate the high level of cannibalism. First one is providing sufficient food and shelters, reducing stocking density, and size grading and removal or trimming of claws. Recent findings shows that incorporating tryptophan in the diet can reduce the aggressive behavior of crabs. In the growth phase, culture of juvenile crabs to market size with one or two more commodities in earthen brackish water ponds is the most prevalent practice. Due to the cannibalistic nature of mud crab, polyculture usually with milkfish and shrimp pond is carried out. The stocking density of each commodity varies with the size and the number of seed stock available and the abundance of natural food growth in the pond. Crabs culture period ranges from 4 to 5 months. Monoculture is usually done for short-term culture as in fattening in various systems. Mud crab culture is also integrated with existing mangroves. Formulated diets have been verified in commercial grow-out ponds and showed promising results. Mud crabs are commonly fed with low-value fish, mollusks, and other unprocessed natural foods. Mortality in mud crab in grow-out phase is oftentimes due to the white spot syndrome virus. On the site, training on all phases of culture of mud crab has also been done by SEAFDEC or EQD not only in the Philippines but also in the other countries like Brunei, Myanmar, India, and Timor-Leste, with the establishment of several hatcheries and nurseries. There will be sufficient seed stock supply for farming, thereby decreasing the dependence on the wild stock.
Now let's proceed to the farming methods in crab production. For the grow-out system, pond-based young crabs are raised and grown for a certain period of 5 to 6 months till they reach marketing size and weight. The pond size depends on the production type of what production type they will be using. Generally, ponds for crab farming size between 0.5 to 2 hectares. The proper bonds and tidal water exchange is a must. And for small size ponds, it is very suitable for crab farming because it is easily maintained and suitable fence is required. And then for the larger size ponds are where natural conditions and prevailing strengthening is necessary along the outlet area. This is still included in the grow-out system. Juvenile wild crabs are stocked at weighs 10 to 100 gm depending on the size and available facilities. Within 3 to 5 months, they may reach the marketing size. So within 3 to 5 months, depending on the available size and facilities, they may reach the marketing size. 1 to 3 crabs per square meter in a commercial production is supplementary feeding. With supplementary feeding, fed with low-cost fish, shrimps, small-sized crab, and also rotted fish, innards of birds, animals from slaughterhouse. Daily fed 5% of their body weight, and small pipes are kept to avoid cannibalism. So small pipes are needed to avoid cannibalism of crabs. Let us now proceed to the fattening system, raising soft-shelled crabs for a certain period until their exoskeleton gets hardened. Hard-shelled crabs has 4 to 5 times more value in the market than soft-shelled crab. Takes less time and process is very profitable. Can be done by two systems, fattening in ponds and fattening in pens or cages. So hard-shelled crabs has more value, which is 4 to 5 times more than the soft-shelled crab. So it really takes time and the process to make the profit or value of the crab more profitable. And then it can be done in two systems, which is fattening in ponds and fattening in pens or cages. Fattening in pond, draining the pond water, sun drying, and sufficient quantity of lime, then fence around the pond for fattening purposes, since crab have the tendency to escape by making hole and digging the soil. As we all know, may ugali talaga yung mga crab na magdidig sila ng hole para makatakas sila. The inlet area were reinforced with bamboo mating inside the pond. Depending on the location and crab's availability, 8 to 12 fattening cycles can be done in a year. So in a year, depending on the location and crab's availability, pwedeng maging 8 to 12 ang fattening cycles. Crabs weigh between 300 grams to 500 grams, has high demand and value. Crabs are collected and sold when they reach the optimal marketing, always when they are shelled and has high profit. For fattening in pens or cages, pens, floating net cages, and bamboo cages in shallow estuarine waterways and inside large shrimp ponds with good tidal water influx and in tanks. Bamboo splits, Netlon or HDPE as netting material. So bamboo splits and Netlon or HDPE are being used for as netting. Then fattening in cages or pens is usually in small scale production. So this is more used in small production of crabs. 3 meter long, 2 meter wide, and 1 meter height is ideal cage for crab fattening.
So, dito pa din muna tayo sa farming methods. Fattening system is more profitable than grow-out system and has many advantages. One of these is that fattened crabs can be stocked at higher densities and no molting occurs. Therefore, cannibalism will reduce. And then, grow-out farming takes more time than fattening system, since grow-out system takes for about more than 3 months. Also, fattening system is very popular to the farmers, especially to small-scale aquaculture, as it takes less time, which is for about 30 to 45 days, and the process is highly profitable. It also reduces the risk of losing crabs to disease, which may result to a higher survival rate. So after farming methods, let's move to harvesting. So after the fattening period, or when the crabs reach its minimum marketing size, then the mad crab can already be harvested individually by hand, or you can also use traps, trolling, hooking, or baited wire mesh pots. Harvesting should be done in the early hours or evening hours. Then the harvested crabs should be washed in good brackish water to remove all the unwanted dirt or the mud. The crabs are then carefully bound with the straw or string without breaking its leg to enable easy handling, and the skilled laborer is hired to bind the pincers of the crab. Kasi hindi rin naman basta-basta ang pagtatali ng crabs. It is a step-to-step process para na rin hindi ka masipit ng crab kasi masakit yun. Remember that exposure of the crab to sun and wind should be avoided as this may lead to weakening and eventual death. So it must be kept in moist conditions. Kaya nga sa umaga and gabi yung recommended time for harvesting. The expected survival rate of crabs in ponds would be 70 to 80%. The water crabs encountered in the final harvest can be utilized for fattening purpose. So, next is the interesting facts about crabs. So, first one is that there are more than 4,500 species of crab around the world. And crabs are also known as decapods because they have 10 legs. Crabs walk and swim sideways because of the articulation of the legs, which makes a sidelong gait more efficient. However, some crabs can still walk forwards or backwards or in all directions. Then, crabs eat both meat and plants, making them omnivorous. Some of them eat plants like algae, and some gets meat from mollusks, worms, fungi, bacteria, and even other crustaceans such as shrimp or barnacles. In times of desperation, they have been known to eat the offal from the seafloor. Kabilang na dito is yung mga dead and decaying animals. Pregnancy in female crabs only lasts 1 or 2 weeks, and then they lay between 1,000 and 2,000 eggs at once. Some species of crabs are solitary or living alone, while others live in group, and that group of crabs living together are also known as castes. Did you know that the smallest known species of crabs are ranging from 6 to 13 millimeters or equivalent to 0.24 to 0.5 inches, which is known as the pea crab, or with the scientific name of Pinyoteres pisum. On the other hand, the Japanese spider crab, with the scientific name of Macrochirap caempferi, reaching 5.5 meters or 18 feet from claw to claw, is the largest of these species of crabs. Thank you for listening, everyone. We hope that you learned something from us today. Again, thank you and God bless.